Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Pitch Perfect Pod with myself and Elaine. This is episode 71. And of course, as we do with every other week, we have a special guest. So today, you might have seen his face before. She's a cosplayer, a cat cuddler, a tea enthusiast, a book hoarder, occasional armor wearer, and now a spoiler card haver. We have Ren back on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be back.
We're excited to have you back. We had such a good time last time. I remember we were like gushing to each other about how much fun we had having a chat with you, because that was like our first time functionally meeting.
I know, it felt like we were friends forever, just hanging out.
Exactly, right? So we're happy to have you on board again. For those that may have missed the previous episode, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Hi, my name is Ren, and I am a cosplayer. I'm new to the fab scene. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary, which is kind of crazy to say. But I have cosplaying, and I just really love the game, and I'm just here having fun, sharing my kind of journey through cosplay and my fab journey as well.
Well, welcome. Normally we don't shout out people this quickly, but like honestly, if you haven't seen Ren's cosplays, this is to the listener, obviously. I hope the two of you have, but you should. They're fantastic, and there's no illusionist bias whatsoever on my part.
No, as someone with no illusionist bias, they are fantastic.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well, speaking of shout-outs, we do have a shout-out that came across my feed, and that's Mercy once again. This time not for her playing prowess, but she's going to be casting Bee Calling in Jakarta this weekend, or I guess by the time you're watching this, last weekend. So good luck / well done to Mercy.
Big Mercy stands over here on the podcast. I saw this, and I'm really curious to see if it's gonna be like they're casting it in the booth. They're not like virtually casting it. I saw that and I was like, whoa, how fun.
Are they actually all going?
I thought the same thing. That's what we're wondering.
Yeah, it's like, what? All these people get to go to Jakarta this week?
I assumed it was going to be like, yeah, they're going to be in like some studio in the United States.
Right, because none of these people are like based in Jakarta or anywhere near it. But I'm assuming it'll be like every other stream. It'll be like on site at a booth. But it's just a calling, so I don't know.
Previous events where they've done them from elsewhere. Like,
well, by the time people are listening to this, they'll know if Mercy got to take a vacation to Jakarta or just did not take a vacation.
Honestly, if they did get to go on a trip, they're like, LSS. Like, I'm Yuki's favorite caster. You should just bring me over if that's the case. Yeah.
That's true. You gotta get Yuki's favorite caster in the booth.
Before we get into the big crux of this conversation, which, spoiler season and all that, we did have a week that's passed. So, what have we been up to in this week in Flesh and Blood? Sorry to, I know you make videos about this every week now. But
I know I stole y'all. I did it with you, and I had so much fun. I know your tweet where you're like, "Oh, you should pay us royalties." I was like, "I know."
Well, for 1 week, we're gonna steal your content and put it on here. So, what have you been up to this last week in Flesh and Blood?
So unfortunately, I've been pretty busy with work, so I haven't been playing as much as I normally do. But last Wednesday, I played in a skirmish, and I've been having a lot of fun with the skirmish format, just playing Silver Age, and I think I really like it because I'm playing full-length tournaments, but I'm done really fast, which is really nice. And I was playing Fi. I went 2-2. I lost to a New and a Terra, and then I beat a Vincent, and I also beat I beat the New. I lost to a Briar. And then afterwards, I taught some Learn to Play games. I've been having a lot of fun using Silver Age as like this stepping stone to get my friends into the game, being like, they're like, oh, I don't want to get into a new card game, because a lot of them play like One Piece or Magic, and if you've seen the prices on One Piece right now, it's crazy. So they're like, I don't want to get into another card game, like I'm struggling with One Piece. And I'm like, you only have to pay $20 to play Silver Age, just play it. And I'm like, I have so many decks, just play it. So I've been teaching those learn to play games. And it's funny because then Sunday I was up at my game store just playing kind of a makeup armory, because we had the skirmish. And one of the people who I was teaching to learn to play, I caught them in the store buying some Silver Age decks. So I was like, yes, we've got them. But that's all that I've been doing playing wise. I need to, Houston's having a circuit right now, and the next tournament is CC. So I need to focus my attention back onto CC and get some reps in, but I haven't been able to this week. So hopefully this weekend I'll be able to go out and play.
Do you have an idea of what kind of hero you're thinking for that?
I have been playing Syndra a lot. I've been feeling kind of the ninja, like go fast, but I am really excited for Aurora to come out. So I'm also just kind of bidding my time there until she's out.
Kind of similar, you're just playing these like zero cost attacks. Allowed to go again.
Aurora, so cute and girly pop though. I love her. I miss her. I'm also so excited for her return.
Well, have you been doing anything in preparation for Aurora to come out soon?
I've got like 4 pre-release.
You say that's like as if this is like 4 times the number of pre-releases you normally attend nowadays.
I always attend I love a pre-release.
Yeah, before?
But yeah. I used to be like that. I used to just like everything I could go to, I go to. And then my schedule is always freaking insane. Like I don't know how I really don't even know how I am so busy all the time. But this weekend my friend was texting me yesterday and today about the pre-release schedules. Shout out my local I guess I don't know. Shout out my local Leo. Sorry, it was like I don't know if I want to say Leo's name or not.
Shout out to someone I'm not gonna name.
Leo is the best. Speaking. I will say Leo name. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like maybe I shouldn't say their name, but it really doesn't. There's a lot of people named Leo.
Shout out all of them.
Anyway, sorry.
All of them.
Shout out all of them, but particularly my local Leo, because Leo, I'm really bad at checking socials. Everyone knows that. I am equally as bad at like checking my Discord groups. Like if you DM me on Discord, I'm gonna answer you right away. If you put something in a group in Discord, I'm not gonna see it. You gotta ping me, or maybe on the like sometimes I'll just be like, oh, there's a notification that caught my eye and I'll open it, but 9 times out of 10 I'm not gonna see it. And so Leo, when something happens in the local community, like when like anytime like PQ signups go up or PQ schedule goes up or something changes with the schedule or people are planning something cool, anything's happening, Leo's always like sends it to me privately so I see it. So shout out Leo, because Leo was like, here's the pre-release schedule. Don't miss signups, because if you've listened to this podcast long enough, you know that I also always, every event sells out, and then I'm just begging people day of for a ticket. It's just how it goes. But I got tickets. I bought my tickets. I got my placeholders. And Leo was like, yeah, this is the schedule. Which one do you want to go to? And I was like, kind of want to grind as many as I can. And he was like, oh shit, we're back. It's like, hey, yeah. I'm like really hyped about Omens. I'm really excited to be back. I miss the grind. I want to grind a little bit, so I think I'm gonna do Friday night, maybe 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, and then maybe one on Monday. I don't know. So 4 to 6 is what I'm planning. We'll see. Watch, I'm only gonna go to 1. That's not true. No, I think I'm definitely gonna do 4. If I had to bet on it, I'd bet that I'd attend 4.
It's a nice safe number. Also, I like that you have a PA. Like, you just have someone tell you, like, here's the schedule, here's what you need to attend, which ones you want to do. Just, like, make sure everything organized for you.
No, it's actually so true because shout out, like, Leo. I would never call him a PA. I would call him a very cherished friend. But even, like, I was like, oh, I want to do both of these on Sunday. He was like, okay, great. This person can drive from one to the other. Oh, perfect. So
you just have to get
yeah, I
into this
appreciate him. Yeah, you just have to get into this car. Do you need to borrow any, like? Yeah, he'll also text me ahead of time and be like, hey, we're playing this format tonight at Armory. If you're free to make it out, do you want me to bring an extra deck? Like, he's a real one. Yeah, so anyway, my week in Flesh and Blood has just been recovering from spoiler cosplay. Because we're filming this on Thursday. That got done literally to the minute. We immediately finished editing it and posted it. So what you saw posted, we finished editing not even 5 minutes beforehand.
Which is true of like every video we put out, to be fair. Not a new thing for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think when we last recorded, I hadn't filmed my portion of it yet, and neither had you. So
No, because so actually we could talk about this for a second. Because if you listen to our last episode, I was talking about my plan for the spoiler. If you listen to that and then you watch the spoiler, you may have noticed that was totally different. What I spent an hour and a half talking about was completely different than what I actually did. So my spoiler shoot was supposed to be at 1 p.m. on Sunday, and at 1:30 p.m. 1 p.m. and at 1:30 a.m. on Sunday, I was already in full body paint. It got canceled. It got canceled, and they were trying to reschedule for the following Sunday. Which obviously wasn't gonna work because we had a spoiler to reveal on Monday, and I was in full body paint, so I was like, oh shit, I have to figure something else out now. So instead of that being shot in a studio doing an aerial routine, which is what I had originally planned for, because I like specifically designed that cosplay to have a lot of movement, I had to rework. I like threw on black baggy clothes. My hair was already laid down for a wig, like in like 5 braids that were like sealed to my head. So I like put on a hat, threw on baggy clothes, and had to go to the store. I think I sent Kiki a picture. My hands were blue. People were really sketched out, and it looked. Wait, I'll put it up on the screen right now. Let me make a note to do that.
if not, we'll make the thumbnail.
So I was like, oh, like, I have to go to the store and figure out how to make this work because I don't know how to make this work. So I went and I bought like one of those light bulbs you can change the colors of. And I got some flashlights, and I used fabric that I had left over for a backdrop and fabric that I had left over to put over the flashlights to create different lighting effects. And then I was just kind of like doing a lot of movement, and I had my sister slow her shutter speed down a lot so that you could actually like catch the movement. So that was like shot in my bedroom, very last minute and completely reworked. So that was very stressful.
The pictures turned out amazing. I really love what you did, and I'm glad you explained how it happened because I was going to ask later on how you captured it because it looked so cool with all the movement and stuff. I really liked them a lot.
Thank you. I was pretty happy with how it turned out, considering it was not what I it was not what I had planned at all. But yeah, it was not the original vision. But so that was Sunday. then Monday, we edited it together. Literally, we were just like single brain cell, one open editing document, and just going at it. There was like one point where we kept disagreeing on something non-verbally, and we were both thinking like, oh, the software keeps glitching, and we were just like moving this sound bar like by like 4 seconds back and forth. It was super fun. So that happened, and work has been crazy, and I've signed up for pre-releases. Thank you to Leo. Shout out Leo. And Leo's gonna listen to this and laugh, hopefully.
Or ask for a raise. One of the two.
Yeah.
Or ask for... Okay, Kiki. Yeah, that's been my week in Flesh and Blood related things.
Like, yeah. My week has only been that spoiler in regards to Flesh and Blood related things. Also because work's too busy, and the usual time that I spend playing Flesh and Blood was just the time that we ended editing the video. So I haven't actually played anything. So my week in Flesh and Blood involved going to a toy store and getting a fishing rod. It was very exciting. That wasn't exciting. It was weird. It was so weird. It felt weird being in like pink shorts and just walking through town and just having my legs exposed like that, which is not something I normally do. They're actually just like swimming trunks as well. Like they're not even like, I don't know. Yeah. And just walking through town and then finding a random spot at the waterfront of my city to like find where I could go quote unquote fishing. And it was really weird like recording that in public because A, it was like super windy. So like half the videos that we recorded I couldn't use because you couldn't hear anything. And then B, sometimes you just get like random people like speaking and you just like catch them in the background. And at one point when we were editing, it didn't seem to want to like remove the sound that I was trying to remove. Except it would for me, but not for Elaine. And she'd be like, why is there like a little child screaming about a shark in the background? I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Although I could have just like kept it in. But yeah, no. Other than that, it was very
loud.
In theory, like I know I have the actual video file. I know what you're talking about, but I couldn't hear it in the editing.
It is so funny. I was literally last night, I was watching some of the videos I filmed on my phone in Japan, and it's so funny what phones will pick up, or like just mics in general pick up, and like what they won't pick up, because I picked up some crazy background audio, so I was having a good laugh about that last night. So I can definitely relate to like picking up weird sounds of people walking by and bits of conversation.
Imagine just like hearing someone's like huge secret or whatever, like they're having a deep heart to heart, or like, you know, they're talking about some sort of like activity they did that they shouldn't be talking about in public, and then just like, I've unintentionally documented this.
Caught in 4K.
Exactly. Now speaking of documenting and so on and so forth, this is your first Flesh and Blood spoiler. So we're going to chat about that. We're going to talk about the processes and all that. But we're going to start with, first of all, what does this opportunity mean to you? Like, yeah. How does it feel to have had your first spoiler?
It feels so surreal. I think that there's a part of me, especially because when I was asked about it, it was my first day in Japan, so I was jet lagged a little bit. So like I replied and I was like yes, and then I woke up the next morning and I had to check all my documentation because I was like, that's a crazy dream to have, and I was like, okay, it was real. Like but it feels very surreal because this was something that I told myself would be a really cool goal that I could have, and like maybe in a year or 2 years I'd really like to have one, a spoiler card. And the fact that I was able to get it for Omens, which is a set that I'm really, really excited about, meant a lot. The colors and just everything around Omens, like I'm so excited for Aurora and everything. It just meant a lot. And then just having the support online, but also just in my local community. There were a lot of people that were like, wow, this is so cool. And like, it's so cool. Local cosplayers getting this. It meant a lot. So it just really made me feel good. And like, I was able to check off a goal that I had a lot sooner than I ever thought was possible. So I'm just really happy and really grateful for the opportunity.
Yeah, the first time I remember seeing the email as well, like, was separate to this channel. But I remember just being so taken aback by it, especially because, like, at the time my content was being a Twitter personality. And also, it's strangely in character, like, for each set. Like, it looked like an advertising email, like, just looking at, like, the subject title. Did you find that when you your first spoiler? Do you remember what that was like for you, Elaine?
Yeah, I like remember it like it was yesterday, even though it was like 4 years ago, I think. My first spoiler was for Uprising, and I'd been playing the game maybe 3 months. And it was also, I was a cosplayer because Pitch Perfect didn't exist back then yet. So I'd done an Icelander cosplay in the cosplay competition at Pro Tour New Jersey. Very first Pro Tour ever. My gosh, we're like aging ourselves in this game, Kiki.
I can tell you about my actual first spoiler, but carry on.
First cosplay competition, first Pro Tour ever. Pro Tour New Jersey, what a time. And I met James White. He like knew who I was, just from me posting cosplay stuff on Twitter. And yeah, really liked what I was doing on Twitter, really liked my cosplay. It was like Pitch Perfect didn't exist as it is right now, but it existed in the spirit because Melody and I kind of fell into this podcast from just always talking about gender minorities in the gaming space and what it's like to be a woman in flesh and blood. I yelled about that in cosplay in the early days, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just make a podcast to do the second one, much more efficient. And so, but James White like kind of knew that, and we talked. We had a great conversation, and then I feel like Uprising was coming out, and he emailed me and asked if I'd do this Singe. It was Singe is what I revealed. And I remember I was in the car. It was like late at night, and I was not driving, but I got an email and I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to like call like 4 of my flesh and blood friends and be like, I got a spoiler. It was the most exciting thing ever. And I couldn't believe it. I was also like felt so, I didn't even make content at the time officially, just cosplays. But I had yeah, like what you said, Vin, like it felt so early in my fab career. It was like, this feels surreal. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I realized my first spoiler missed all of this pomp and circumstance all together. Like, it was like I got a message from my boss because this was back in Arcane Rising. Yeah.
We've been around so long.
And it was literally just like, my boss sent me a message being like, hey, we have to reveal a card. Can you make a Facebook post? And okay. So he just sent me the image of the card, and I did like a little 1-page write-up, and then my boss removed half of it. He's like, it's too long. I'm like, well, this is literally just a post saying, here's the card now. He's like, yep, that's good. I'm like, okay. I can never remember the name, was? But it's the 1-cost defense reaction for Wizard from Arcane. It's the one that's like your next Arcane spell this turn gets an additional +2. It's the only Wizard defense reaction for Arcane right now.
Yeah, I would say Wizard defense reaction. I don't know, let me look.
Yeah.
This should be easy to find.
And then the second one I got was Crucible of War, and it was the Ranger defense reaction that has a 2-headed dog on it, which I didn't realize at the time. And I'm like, of course he gave it to us because my store's mascot is the Cerberus. But yeah, that's like way back in the day when there wasn't really these like flesh and blood personalities. So they just gave spoilers to random stores, mostly in New Zealand.
Makes sense.
Absorb an aether is the card.
Yeah, very different time compared to the spoilers nowadays. Also, real quick, when you respond to like the email, Ren, do you do it as like a normal person?
I'm pulling it up.
I have to check my response. I think I love a theme, and I love dressing up, so I love a bit. So I think the fact that they were kind of like in character, I was like in character responding like yes, like so I was kind of responding as me, but then I was also very tired and a little bit jet lagged at the time. So I definitely responded in character to them. And I think that's also another reason why afterwards when I woke up the next morning, I was like, that's a dream, or they're not going to respond to me. They're going to be like, she's crazy.
No. I will read you our response. We always respond in
Oh, thank goodness. Okay.
We always respond in characters. So this time, I'll read you our Omen's response, but it's always similar to this. Like, greetings, Elaine of Aria and I, Kiki was writing this, have journeyed to discover the meaning of these... the meaning behind these omens, and would also be honored to join the party in search of the secrets. We always
I was definitely similar. I was like, this call resonates with me. I'm ready to pick it up and carry on the message.
We're like...
Yeah, no, we've been doing this since
yeah.
Rosetta, I guess. Technically, been responding to in character to these emails, so don't.
Since my first personal spoiler, I created this character of myself being an illusionist from Solana within Wraith. And like, if you go back to my original spoilers where I would like write in the Solanian script or in the Arcanic script, I just have always had this in-world character that I've just made exist around the actual canon lore of Flesh and Blood. So I signed off as that character for this email, which thankfully is just my name still, but it's like of Solana, and that's where the Elan of Aria.
I love that. I love that. When you get notifications later of me liking things from way back, it's because I'm gonna go and like scroll all the way back to read some of these posts.
Yeah, for a while I was fluent in writing Solanian and Arcanic.
That's so cool.
I haven't done it for a while now though, but maybe I'll come back at some point if there's like another spoiler where it's relevant. Yeah, okay, well. Now that we've got that part out of the way, you showed us glimpses of like the behind the scenes of your preparation for your cosplay. How did the process of preparing for a cosplay photo shoot, like for the spoiler, differ from like an event cosplay, which is what we're usually used to seeing you in?
So something that kept me going, and especially since I had my friend who I am hoping that, you know, this kind of cosplay spoiler and also Silver Age is going to get her into the game, which she's very excited for Blaze. So very excited for Blaze Silver Age deck over here. We had such a short turnaround from the time that I got back and was able to actually start working on the cosplay to the release, because I was like I think I was on the first day of spoiler season.
Yeah, you were early.
That we kept telling ourselves like it just has to look good in the photo. Like it, worst case scenario, you know, we have it clipped in the back or whatever. We ended up sewing like fully formed garments, but because it's not like a garment that I'm going to be wearing around a convention and like have people looking at up close and far away, like I was like, the details don't have to be there. They just have to photograph well and we can just fix it. Like, don't stress on it, just get it done. So that is one thing that is different. Also, this sometimes happens, but like I just had this one, you know, you just have your one card to kind of guess, and like there are things that you can't, like when I'm doing other cosplays, you can reach out to other cosplayers who have done the heroes before, done similar things, and be like, how'd you do this detail? But you can't really share this image. So it is more of a private process going through it and figuring things out. So that was fun, but also, you know, there are times where I was like, man, like it's so much easier when I do Prism and I'm like, hey, how did you do this detail here? What do y'all think this is? Because there are definitely things on card arts where they could be interpreted a bunch of different ways. And it's just how you want to make it. But that is like the biggest thing that kept me going, was being like, okay, I just have to get it ready for the photograph and then we can fix it up later, but it just has to like be ready for these few photos. What about you, Elaine? Like how do you approach it, or what's the differences for you?
Yeah. Though what you said, like I tell myself it only has to look good in photos is so real. All the time I feel like I'll make a cosplay for a reveal and then people say, oh, you should wear that to an event, you should wear that in person. I'm like, it has no back to it, actually. Yeah. You know, like, that's never actually happened, but it's like, no, this cosplay it won't translate the same on person, especially like something like the one that I just did for Omens. Like I specifically designed that cosplay to capture light a certain way and to capture movement a certain way. So it's like it looks cool in person, but it doesn't look nearly as cool in person as it does in the light, because I designed it to look good on camera specifically. So I think it's not even like it needs to be half done because it's just for a photo. It's like I almost rework the way it's done entirely for photos, and for how I want the photos to look. I think it was Prismatic Leyline I did a cosplay for, and that card reveal, I think we ended up that was when Melody and I were on Pitch Perfect together. I think we ended up just like photoshopping me into the art and then just like posting the card with some cool little wording or whatever on Twitter. And that everyone was like, oh, this cosplay is so good, so accurate, I didn't even notice it was Elaine in the art and not the actual art. And I had multiple people reach out to me and be like, can you wear this to the next event? Oh, I'd love to see it in person. I was like, hey guys, the skirt is literally a plastic tablecloth. Like, I'm not wearing it. My bracers are tinfoil.
That's amazing.
I'm not wearing this in person. That was like I made that cosplay in like 3 hours from stuff I had around the house, because originally I wasn't gonna cosplay for the reveal, but our original reveal plan fell through. So it was like a last minute rework, and I was like, I can cosplay this, I can make it work. And it's like one of my most complimented cosplays ever.
Of course.
And I'm like, it's a plastic tablecloth and tinfoil.
Of course.
I cannot wear it. Yeah. It's funny how that works out, you know? It's like the ones I spend 50 hours on, it's like get like 2 likes.
Yeah, and then the one that you put against tinfoil, they're like, wow, this is amazing, you really outdid yourself. That's how I felt. I was stressing about getting this cosplay done, making sure it looked amazing, and then everybody's just like, cat, there's a cat, the cat's so pretty. I'm like, yeah, he's really pretty, but he just got treats, like he's just here.
Yeah, all he did was sit there.
Compliment my hard work.
Yeah, it's like I spent so long like crafting this artistic vision. I also feel like when I cosplay, it kind of depends on the card. Like sometimes I'll try and recreate it perfectly for a reveal, but depending on the direction that Kiki and I like want to go, if I'm not necessarily recreating the card, but recreating the vibe and the person, like recreating like the figure in the card and like the overall vibe in the card, I really, that's a lot different than creating a cosplay in person. Because if I'm gonna make a cosplay to wear in the event, I want it to be like as accurate to that person in the card as possible. If I'm creating a cosplay to tell the story of that card and that person, then it's like, okay, I want to really capture like these elements, and I want it to like be portrayed in this way. And a little bit like this one, kind of, there was like a storm in our video, so I wanted it to be kind of like very like mystifying, but a little bit almost like creepy and visually overstimulating, and like, oh yeah, almost like visually confusing to start. So it's just like a totally different process, I think. I don't know that most people realize that.
I agree, especially now have gone through the process, and if I ever get lucky enough to have another spoiler card, like I'm already kind of thinking like what would I do to go about it differently, and like it is a completely different process. And you have such a, normally also too, when you have a cosplay for a convention, you normally like know like, okay, in February I'm gonna do this cosplay, so you have time to kind of make a plan and get materials, or like if you want to like source like some really fancy material. Of course, Elaine, you live in New York, so that's a lot nicer. You have the fashion district, but
I love the fashion district.
I had to kind of search for fabric stores in Houston because, rest in peace Joanne's, we don't have her anymore. And I learned that Michael's has no fabric, that are like no usable good fabrics. So that was a different process because you have such a short timeline that you really have to find things and make it work, versus when you have a long time, you can kind of trial and error, make things, think about how you want to do it, have a more solid plan than, a few days, a few hours, however long it takes to do your promo card or spoiler card.
Yeah. One of my fabric hacks, Rin, for the future, if you've ever thought about it, I love going to like thrift stores and like Goodwills and looking in the curtain section, because you could buy curtains for like $3, and that's a lot of fabric. So that's what because I used to live in Louisiana. That's where I'm from originally. So back when I started playing Flesh and Blood, I lived in Louisiana. That was like a hack.
That's a good hack.
Trying to find interesting fabric for cheap in large quantities, like curtains. Thrifting curtains.
You also mentioned, circling back, that how your cosplay was so good everybody thought you were in the card. And I have been kind of sharing with my family. They don't really understand what I'm doing and like what it means and stuff. So my grandma thinks that the card is me, and like I tried to explain it like, no, it's not me, like I dressed up to look like it. And she's like, no, they made it after you. And I'm like, okay, it's not hurting anybody, you can believe that the card is me.
That's
like,
cool.
She was just like, it was so cool, you're like a big deal if they're making this card after you. And I'm like, no, I made it to look like her, the other way around, but thank you.
That was actually Kiki to me when they dropped etchings of Arcana. I had like blonde hair and bangs at the time, and etchings of Arcana Kiki and I revealed together. And that was before Kiki was on Pitch Perfect, and Kiki like reached out to me and was like, do you want to reveal this card with me, because it's literally you in the art. And that was a super fun cosplay. I really liked making that one. That one I did end up wearing to the Rosetta world premiere, but I kind of made it so that I would be able to, because I knew I was going to the world premiere. So I was like, ooh, Kiki showed me the art. I was like, that is me.
Also, if you're listening, I didn't show her the art. Yeah, that's fine.
It's been years. You didn't show.
I didn't
you didn't show me.
text.
Actually, like you only showed me. Yeah, you only showed me like, this is the girl in the art. Like I knew nothing else about the card. I didn't even know the class or anything.
I know my friend who helped me. I was like, hey, can you help me with this thing? I can't show you it, and like I can't tell you about it, but like, can you come to my house and wear a costume and a wig for me and just pose how I need you to pose? And she was like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So when I get my cameraman and friend Kieran to film my portion of the videos normally, I always show him the script, and I'm always careful on the script to not actually say anything about the card other than what directions I need from Elaine and myself and stuff. So he has a vague idea, but he was looking at it, he was like really confused as to like why there's fishing. And like, I think we threw so many people off with fishing being the first video, the portion of that we revealed. But
yeah, we were just baiting the Riptide players.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, The Riptide players, for whatever reason, in my locals have it out for me. So I can call him out. It's okay. He said my deck was trash, and then he hasn't beaten me since. So
I don't have Riptide players in my locals. We have a really good scene over here.
dang, I don't even go that far. So one thing I wanted to ask both of y'all about, just going back to the kind of convention or event cosplay versus like photo cosplay, is obviously when you're doing like a photo cosplay, you have much more control over the background. And you kind of touched on this before, with like talking about how like movement was important for your like photo cosplay or whatever. But you have much more control over like the background of the pictures and such compared to an event where your background is going to be tables upon tables of people playing or whatever happens to be around you. Which, you know, I guess you can research in advance or whatever. Thinking back on like, I think it was Carolina and Max who did like the Fiendals Fighting Spirit cosplay at an event. And then they like went and found a specific area to do it. But like how much of a impact does like having the control over what the context of your cosplay look like how much of a factor is that in your process of creating your cosplays?
It makes such a difference, especially the lighting. Being able to control the lighting and like where it's hitting you makes such a difference, because there are times where you are taking photos at a convention and you think like this is going to be a great photo, and then you get it and like the lighting is so bad and no amount of like editing can help you like see your face or see the details that you want to show off. So it's really nice. And then you can also have a background that fits the vibe of the card, or you can have it highlight certain details of the cosplay that you would want to highlight versus, you know, when you're standing all day. And also sometimes when you're getting photos done at a convention, you've been wearing the costume for a while. And I've had people tell me that they didn't think that clumsy people existed, and then they met me and they're like, oh no, you're really clumsy. So things break.
I'm super clumsy too, girl.
So like there, you know, my cosplay may start the day in better shape than we end the day, or I might get annoyed by wearing a certain piece of something and have to rip it off and wear it later, maybe for photos. So having the control of how the lighting's hitting me, how the background, and kind of really curating a vibe that complements the cosplay, and also making sure that I look the best. You know, again, also I'm putting on makeup specifically for the photo shoot, and I just have the makeup on like right before, as to having been in my makeup all day, sweating, you know, rubbing my face, getting it all messed up. So you definitely look way better than sometimes the mystery bag of photos you get back from conventions. I had that happen recently in Yokohama, where I was like, I asked Carolina to take a cute photo together, and I was like, let's take it. And she just absolutely mogged me. Like, it's crazy. She looks so good. And I'm just like, I look like a potato. And I'm like, girl, I got mogged so hard.
It's me with every picture I have with her. I was like, she looks stunning.
No, actually,
That
yeah.
happens when you take pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a single picture of me in cosplay at a convention that I liked, which is super disappointing because I need to start doing the Carolina and Rachel thing and just like going full photo shoot at the convention center or outside the convention center, because I have like so many cosplays that I've only worn at conventions, and it's like, wow, I hate every picture of myself in this, or not even of myself in this, but like this doesn't look good. So like, it's like either I don't look good or the costume is just like, the costume looks kind of bad, like the cosplay looks kind of bad, and it's like the best picture I have of this cosplay is like it's half finished and I'm standing in a mirror in my bedroom, and I'm not gonna post that online. So like I think there's some from Shiana that I think are decent that I liked. I like once what I did Embodiment of Earth, the Sasha Sandakai that I did that I won my tailor with. I don't like any of those pictures. I don't have a single picture. I have a single picture of that one where I feel like the cosplay looks good, and obviously it was a good cosplay. I won a tailor with it. Yeah. Oh, I did the beach Kasai
Oh, cute.
skin when I was in Singapore, and don't have a picture of that I like either. It's just I need to start doing just like full on photo shoots, because it's also like you said, like cosplay is really it's not comfortable to wear. I think I did back when I originally first started doing cosplay, I did at Pro Tour New Jersey, like I said, I did Steve Argyle's Icelander, which was the Icelander that was released in Everfest, and then Uprising wasn't out yet, so that was the only Icelander. And then when I revealed a card for Icelander for Uprising, I made the updated adult Icelander cosplay for that reveal, and I wore that at the Uprising premiere in Las Vegas. And that is the most overstimulating cosplay ever, because the way it's done is like, your face has not just makeup but also like face paint on it, because she has these crazy white markings. You have like a wig that is down to your knees almost, getting caught on everything ever. And then like white contacts also, and then like not to mention you're in a corset and you have like this thing around your neck because she has icicles coming off her shoulders, and then her legs are like ice is coming up her legs. So the way that the leg pieces that I had made for that cosplay, I had to glue onto my legs to stay in place. So it's like my legs are full of glue, I'm in a corset, my face is painted, my wig is hurting, like giving me a headache, and also overstimulating me because it's caught on everything. I have these spiky things coming off my shoulders, and I can't see anything because my eyes are white and starting to get irritated. It's like I'm not in the mood to take a good photo, actually.
Yeah.
I actually don't want to take a photo at all right now. So yeah, things fall apart, you get agitated, it's not comfortable. For a photo shoot, I can be uncomfortable for an hour and still look good. I was thinking that when I was doing this current photo shoot, like, there's no way I could wear this all day at a convention.
Oh yeah.
It was way too uncomfortable. That heavy beaded headpiece that I had on, no, I could not.
Yeah, when you're doing a photo shoot, you can take breaks. You can see the finish line. You can also spread out with your costume as well, which you can't normally do sometimes, depending on where you're taking your photos at conventions. My prism wings in Yokohama, they look really cool, but like, because it was a kid's like fairy wing kit that I glued the angel wings onto, they were so noisy because I think they were a little too heavy for like my little thing I had. So they're like squeak, squeak, squeak the whole time I was wearing them. So like I had to turn it off, and then like after I had them off and like I was done for the day, I like still hear like phantom like squeak, squeak, squeak at dinner. I was like, this is too much.
Kind of like when you've been on a boat all day and you get in bed and it's like, I'm still
on the boat. Exactly.
Squeak, squeak, squeak.
And when you're talking about like, I don't want to take photos, I do that too, where I'm like, okay, take photos too, and I'm like, I'm done. It has to be good. And then I look back later and I'm like, this is the worst photo ever. Why didn't I pose better?
I'm not a mean person, I would say, hopefully ever, but like, if you've survived a day, a weekend at a convention with me, then like we are really good friends, and I really like you because because I just get so overstimulated. And also I feel like everyone for a convention is not eating properly, and I get angry when I don't eat. So it's like I'm overstimulated, I'm hot, I all I want is to take a shower, and I also haven't eaten, so
because I don't like eating in cosplays too is another thing, because you don't want to mess up your makeup or like get stuff on your cosplay, because again, I'm a messy girl, so like, and Prism's always in white, which has been the majority of my cosplay, so like naturally if I do anything, it's going to end up on her. And then another thing is that when you're doing a spoiler shoot, you're in your house or the studio, wherever you're filming it, so temperature is regulated. Convention centers can be very hot, very cold, and I am also just such a smart person, and I never consider like oh, I want to do this cosplay in the summer and it has long sleeves and a fur coat. I don't consider the seasons and I probably should. Every time I'm finished with a cosplay, I have a list of things. I'm like, Lauren, next time you do this cosplay, like consider these things. And then I just forget them immediately when I choose my next cosplay because I'm like, this is so pretty.
No, yeah. It's
Yeah.
art. You can't mess with the art. Also, but even people don't realize also how if you've never worn a foam garment, a garment made out of foam, it's
The sweat is so
so
gross.
it's so hot. There is no like people don't think about the fact there's no air movement coming on. You know, this thing is not breathing in any way. It's not permeable. No, it's just like your skin and foam and maybe something in between. And if there is something in between, probably even worse, honestly. It's like
my prism foam corset broke after my photo shoot in Yokohama, and I put on like a casual shirt to wear. And then once I had that casual shirt on, even though I probably could, if I spent some time and energy, I could have fixed the corset to wear there. But like once it was off and I had something more comfortable on, there was no way I was putting that back on. I was like, no, you're staying broken. That's a problem for another day. I'm too comfortable now. I'm not sweaty. This is how it's going to be.
This is it. This is what we're doing. Yeah. I understand. Even yeah. I mean I've been there before where something breaks and it's like, we're just not going to do it.
Yeah.
I actually can't handle this right now.
You know, having your equipment broken is a pretty key part of Flesh and Blood. It's just true to character, really, if you think about
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true. When I did the photo shoot at my house, I like fully body painted myself to go to the thing, and then since that got delayed, the shoot got delayed a bit, and because I had to run around town looking for inspiration and things to pull this off the way I wanted to. But I had, like I said, already body painted my hands because by the time my shoot got canceled, I needed to leave my house in 30 minutes. And then the shoot got canceled. It was like, well, I'm not leaving my house in 30 minutes. And so then once I spent time running around, it was like, it probably would have been halfway through the original shoot by then. So then all of that makeup way longer than I wanted to be. And I got very hangry before my sister and I started shooting. And I was like, I have to eat right now. But my hands are blue. And I was like, had to take these contacts off. My hands were blue, and so it's like my sister had to feed me and then also like do my contacts for me, like take on and off my contacts, which she'd never dealt with. She really freaked her out, but she did a great job. And obviously my eyes are not infected. But it's like my hands are just blue and I just can't. Like it was like if I wash my hands, because that paint went all the way up to my shoulders. Like if I wash my hands, it's gonna ruin the whole thing. So you're just gonna have to do this. You're just gonna have to feed me. It felt like being at a convention in cosplay because I feel like these things often happen. It's like you almost need a personal assistant the entire time.
Too, apparently.
Shout out Leo. I'm joking, Leo.
Next podcast guest, Leo's Elaine's personal assistant.
He'll just be in the background.
No, we're not.
2 phones in hand, just.
I'm gonna have to edit all this out.
Or just leave it in and pay him better, you know? It'll be fine.
I don't think Leo is a personal assistant. Just think of him as a goated
This is what
friend.
we call a recurring gag. It's not real. I do remember the day of your shooting afterwards. You sent me all the photos and stuff, and I was like confirming that this is what we're working. You're like, I've just removed the paint. I'm not getting back in it again. Yeah, fair.
Like, oh, did you get any videos? I was like, no, and you're not getting any.
I have also been there where like I'm trying to like film content or something, and like there's just a point where I'm like, it's coming off, and we're just gonna make it work. Like, it just, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, I just took a shower. It, like, Kiki, my body has been blue for 5 hours. So I'm not painting myself again.
Oh, God. Sorry, I had a question. Like, I guess kind of, do you have a preference as to what you prefer? I mean, based on the conversations that's been going on, it feels like it's probably more preferable to like be doing a photo shoot rather than an event one. But like, do you have preferences or things you like about event cosplay versus photo shoot cosplay?
Well, if you're cosplaying at an event, you get the like instant gratification of people coming up and like recognizing your cosplay and saying you look really good. And that honestly makes, like, even if just one person notices and like recognizes your cosplay, that makes all the hard work and all the struggling worth it. So that's why honestly I do it, is just because having that, and then also getting to connect with other cosplayers, especially within the fab scene, like talking to them and sharing our stories and taking photos with them makes it all worth it. And it's definitely more fun, because also, you know, sometimes shooting by yourself can be a little lonely because you're doing it by yourself and then, you know, you post them online or whatever. So I do love the social aspect of cosplaying at cons, and I do very much like it. It's just, like I said, it's just two different things, you know, both have their pros and their cons.
Yeah. Yeah, even though like cosplaying at cons is like objectively uncomfortable. uh and like you don't necessarily get like the picture perfect content that you want out of it that you do with a photo shoot. It's still just like I definitely prefer it. The reasons that you said, Rin, like immediately came to my head. Like you get like the interaction with other players and other people, which is just really cool. I mean, some of my like most prized memories from being at conventions in Flesh and Blood came from being in cosplay. Like a lot of, you know, I think back to when Steve Argyle gave me a artist proof of Icelander for doing his cosplay, the cosplay of his art. When I won my Taylor with Sashi Sandakai, a little so sweet like son and dad duo gave me a cold foil copy of the Sasha Sandakai card. Like it's just like moments like that you just don't get when you are doing a photo shoot alone, and that are so memorable, and they sit in my binders still. I have like my binders organized to like Kasai, all my blingy Kasai cards, and then the next page is actually all the cards I've revealed, and then the next page are just like cards that have really special memories tied to them. And like all of those cards, I could pull it out right now and go through them. Those are all from times I've been in cosplay at events. And I've met like friends. I've made friends because they've come up to me and talked to me. And then also, you know, you talked about meeting other cosplayers at events, and earlier you talked about being able to like create in a collaborative way with like feedback and sharing of ideas, and like you don't get that when you're having to be secretive about what you're doing, and you can't like just share and be like, hey, what are we making, and like how did you do that, and like I does anyone have experience doing this skill? Like it's just a lot more like rewarding. I don't cosplay to have pretty photos. That's just like a perk, right? I cosplay because like I love creating, and I love community, and I love collaboration, and like you get that out of cosplaying in person, and that's why I cosplay. The pretty photos and the nice photo shoots, like it's really fun too, and it is a nice perk, but it's not the reason.
I completely agree. Also, like all the things I complained about being uncomfortable and saying that I have a list of like things afterwards where I'm like, oh, I should, you know, not do this, not do this. I feel like once it's a certain time after the event has passed, like I black out and you forget all of that and you just want to do it again because you miss the highs and like the fun part of it. And you're like, sign me up. I said I never do body paint again. Let's do body paint. We're going to have so much fun.
Be careful though. One time my legs, after embodiment of Earth, my legs were green for a week and a half. I was like, gotta cover these. I can't wear shorts. Thankfully it was winter, but like my legs were green. I couldn't
That's
get it
so
off.
funny.
The blue stick?
The blue did not. I put it on. I was like, this better. Like, it's summer. This better come off. I'm gonna be so mad. I'm actually going to the beach tomorrow. Like, I'll be mad if my legs are blue. I'm gonna look so sketchy with blue
You're gonna
legs.
be like, are you okay? You should go to the hospital.
Are you okay? Yeah. No, the blue came off.
Hello. Oh,
Hey.
all that was fantastic. Obviously, Omens is just coming out, and we're getting cards kind of coming through. Have a question to both of you. Have any kind of cards, images, cosplay ideas come to you from Omens? Is there anything you're kind of looking forward to potentially doing in the future?
I am definitely excited about this set. The colors that are like the Omens colors are my favorite colors, so I kind of knew when they announced it that it was something that I was going to be excited about. And then we've mentioned like Aurora is so cute and girly, and then let me see, because there have been some spoiler cards that came out that I was like, they are beautiful. I really want to cosplay them.
I have a few, and I might already have a few in the works.
Cecilia.
That's so exciting.
I cannot lie.
Yeah.
Oh, Cilio. The okay. Cosmic Duality, Beckoning Brilliance, and Prophetic Quick Steps. I think
Yeah, I was just looking at her. She's beautiful.
I have a cosplay list in my notes app on my phone. That's like, you have to scroll to view them all. So I'll never cosplay all these things, but every spoiler season when I see a card come out, I'm like, yep, that's going on there.
Yeah, all the ones you mentioned,
Yeah,
they're so pretty.
It's like, it's way too long.
That's a throwback to the Carolina episode. The cosplay list.
The cosplay list that will never, it'll never be finished. Ooh, I really also, I've talked about this probably 500,000 times. I want to do a cosplay like the Astral Sanctuary equipment. I love that one. I love the Radiant equipment build. There was an equipment build that came out of Compendium that I really love too. Like, I'd love to do a full equipment build. I like doing equipment. Obviously, when I did Sasha Sandakai, like, that was fun. It didn't have the full, but it was fun to like imagine what the rest of that body would look like, right? But I love when they have a full equipment sleeve that is clearly one person. Also, you get so much detail.
Yes.
It's supposed to look like, which is something you don't usually get.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But all the ones you mentioned, like, the art is so, and like I said, the colors are just the colors that I want. So there are a lot on my list, but I definitely won't get through all of them, especially there's still more cards to be released. So the list is long.
And of course, as you start working through it, another set will come out. And more cards.
Yes.
And more potential.
Well, that's what's happened with my cosplay list. It's now like 35 cosplays long. Because there's so much good art in Flesh and Blood. And yeah, I agree with Red. The aesthetics of Omens is just so beautiful and enticing. It's what really, like, I had so much fun creating a photo shoot for it, because it was really fun to like push myself to be like, hey, how would I, like, if I stepped into this real world, what would that look like, and like to see in person, and how visually crazy would that be, and how would like light interact and things move. And so like I really played a lot with that when creating a photo shoot. It would be interesting to like play with that idea, but have it translate physically, right, for an in-person
I
cosplay.
agree. That's where I'm really excited for like Ziggy cosplays, or like you mentioned, the Astral Sanctuary equipment, the kind of iridescent, like almost ice
Yeah.
crystals,
Yeah.
how that will kind of go into cosplay and how people are going to approach that is another thing that I'm really excited about. I go to the fabric store like when I was working on my cosplay, and I would see like all these iridescent fabrics, and I would get so excited, and I'm like, man, not right now, because I have to pace myself, because I love buying hobby supplies. So otherwise I'd end up with like
Yeah.
so much pretty fabric that I'm like, I'm totally going to use this on a cosplay, and then get excited about something else and buy stuff. So I was like, next time when I'm working on something, like definitely going to pick these up, because there are some really cool art that translating it, like you said, Elaine, into an actual in-person cosplay is going to take a lot of creativity, and I'm really excited to see what comes with that creativity. Also, just the weapons and all the lightning, it's just going to be really cool to see.
Expensive cosplays though, that iridescent.
Mm-hmm.
Like this cosplay that I did it as budget friendly as I could, but oh my gosh, if I had unlimited budget, like I was in the store and I'd be like awestruck by a fabric. And I'd be like, how much is that? And they'd be like $125 a yard. And I'm like, forget about it. Yeah.
Yes, that has been me too.
Yeah, forget
I
about
like
it.
have the fabric in hand, I have this grand idea, and then I check the price, and I'm like, never mind.
Never mind. I stretched myself. Like there was a fabric that I bought that was $30 a yard that went all over that cosplay, but it was so pretty, and I had to have it, and I don't regret buying it. But I was also like, I am not a I'm not an organized person. I am organized in like my schedule and my day-to-day task, but when it comes to like it's time to be creative, I am not an organized person. I've seen Rachel's cosplay process, and it's like, wow, this is so thought out and organized. I usually don't have a plan on what I'm gonna do until I start doing it, and I rarely do I ever make a pattern. Ever, really. I've done that like 3 times. Usually I'm like, let me just cut and sew and hope it works. And so I had this like $30 a yard iridescent organza fabric that was so beautiful that I used all over that cosplay. But I was like, some MIT student is rolling in their grave right now, as I am just like chop, like rip this apart. Like, I'm not gonna hem it. Like, just go in. Like, this I can't really. Like, let me just hot glue this right here on this cardboard fish. I'm gonna hot glue my $30 a yard organza fabric. Like, some MIT student is rolling in their grave, and somewhere elsewhere is like celebrating that I am treating this fabric as if it is construction paper I just got from Walmart. Like.
I'm exactly the same, Elaine. Like, I am such a chaos gremlin when it comes to my creative hobbies. The moment I try to start planning it out or making a plan, I just get overwhelmed and not do it. And it's just like against my nature. I used to paint Warhammer minis like a long time ago, before I played Flesh and Blood and Magic and stuff. And, all my friends would come up with like schemes to be like, okay, step 1, I do this. Step 2, I do this. And I'd be like, nah, I'm just throwing paint on here and we're vibing. And then it would suck, because then I'd get to like my second mini, I'd be like, how did I do that again?
Yeah. That's so like. Yeah, when I painted my legs for this cosplay, I did one leg, and then I was like, time to do the other leg, and I was like, can I recreate? What do here? What did I just do on this one leg? Like, I should have been doing these simultaneously, both my legs, but I did them at different times, so I get that. And then I feel like it's fun to be chaotic a little bit, and I'm so structured in my day-to-day life that like the It's so freeing to just have no plan and no organization. But it does, I don't know about you, it puts me on this roller coaster with my cosplay. When I started, I'm like, this is gonna be the most awesome, best thing ever, incredible. No one's ever seen a cosplay like this. And then I get like halfway through and I'm like, this literally a kindergartner could have made this.
Oh yeah.
Looks terrible. This looks awful.
I'm gonna bare my soul to y'all. I tell myself that like if I don't cry or shed like a tear at one point in my creative process and think that it's the ugliest thing ever, then it's not going to turn out well. Like it is a part of my process to have that low and be like, this is the ugliest thing ever. Like I can't believe I'm doing this. Like what are you doing? But then we get back up. Then there's the up afterwards. So I'm like, oh no, Lauren, you're over dramatic. You're crazy.
So when that happens, it's just showing you that your kind of finished process is still so far away, but you will get there. But like that's the point. If you're not hitting that point where you're there, is it a case of you just being like, there's actually not enough here, I need more? Is that the vibe?
That's what I think. It's always and more. I think that it shows too that like I'm really invested and I care deeply about what I'm creating. So I feel like if I didn't feel that strongly attached to what I was doing, then I obviously am not, my whole heart's not in it.
Yeah. No, I if I'm on a cosplay crunch, like probably just leave me and let me be, because I'm gonna go through all the emotions, including all 5 stages of grief. And I'm probably gonna be a little rude too because I'm crashing out. I swear, I like yelled at some of my friends before because they were like, we had like a sleepover and I was like, yeah, we can have a sleepover, but I have to get up in the morning and like go do my like I have to go to the fashion district. I need stuff. And they were like, yeah, that's fine. And I woke up at like 6 because I just had so much anxious energy to be like, okay, I need to start this cosplay. This was like day 1. I need to start this cosplay because this was like last Saturday and it was like, I have a shoot in 8 days. So it was like, I have to start this. And I was just like walking around the house, and then finally at like 10 a.m. they woke up and I was like, hey, I have to go to the fabric district. And I said it like 4 times and they're like, yeah, we know, you keep saying it, we know. And I was like, but you guys are still in bed. And then like at 11 a.m. I turned on the lights and like got up and they were like, they were all like, turn off the lights. And I was like, I have to cover up. They're like, what's wrong with you? I was like, you guys are just laying in bed. I have to go right now. They were like, we just woke up. I was like, not mad at you, but I've been up for 5 hours freaking out about this. It's like, I have to go. Like, I just have to go. They were like, do you want us to come? I was like, no, I don't.
Was there consideration to just leave?
And then I like
prior to that?
Well, it was like yes, I did consider that, but I didn't want to disturb them. Like I was trying to be patient, and then I reached my threshold of like, I just have to go. I can't be patient anymore. I have to get this done. Then I like went to the fabric district. Then I came back and I was like, hey guys, you want to see what I bought? It was all fine. But there's like a 12. Like I feel like with every cosplay I make, there's like a minimum of 12 hours to a maximum of 2 days where I'm like, throw it in the closet. I'm not even gonna finish it. I hate it. And then you get like a burst of inspiration from somewhere. I think even with this last cosplay that I made, I had like sent Kiki pictures of it. It was like 2 a.m. and I was like, this is where it's at. This is how it's gonna look. I'm done with it. It is what it is. And I like went to bed and I was like, it is what it is. And then I had a dream of how to improve it. And I woke up at like 6 a.m. and I was like texting Kiki, like, I made a bunch of changes. I've been up for hours. It looks completely different. Here it is now.
That's happened to me on my Prism cosplay. There was like something I was really struggling with doing. It was like the gold collar. And I was like, I'm not going to do it. I don't need it. I'm not going to do it. And then I also had a dream, and I sound crazy telling all my friends. I'm like, yeah, I saw it in a dream. That's how I figured out how to do it. Thanks. I saw it in a dream.
This happens to me every time I make a cosplay. I see it in a dream. Like, I get stuck on something and I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And then I have a dream about it. This happens like every time I make a cosplay. I'm not joking. You're not crazy. I also dream of solutions to my cosplay problems. That's where I have to like throw it in a closet until I have a dream.
I relate. Yes, I feel so much better. It's not just me having these mystic dreams about how to finish cosplays.
No, it's not just you. I could go back to all my cosplays and probably pinpoint exactly what I had to dream. Yeah, I had.
It's like shower thoughts while you're sleeping, you know?
Yeah. My subconscious is like very creative, I guess. Much more creative than my conscious.
It's just less clouded. That's all it is. That's kind of... It's not even the questions we had. We kind of just went on a tangent. But I think that's kind of all the questions I have for y'all today. Is there anything else y'all want to bring up? Talk about?
I love that before this, we were like, should we add more sections? And Rin and I were both probably like, we can yap for an hour. And then we didn't even actually get through the questions.
Yeah.
Because we yapped so much. So
I'm gonna be
it
real,
worked
like,
out.
Ren answered all of the discussion points in like the first 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm gonna have to like just roll with whatever you give me and come up with things as we go along. But it worked out. It was good. Well, in that case, we have no guest segment. We have no listener questions, but we do have people that are keen to learn more about you based on the response to everything except for the questions. So if you're learning about Ren for the first time, how can they find you in your Flesh and Blood related content?
I am the threaded Ren on all social medias. I'm also the threaded Ren on YouTube, X, Bluesky, Instagram, TikTok, whatever you're fancy. I'm there posting some different content depending on the platform, and I'd be more than happy for you to follow along on my journey and get to know you all.
That was really cute. Usually we're just like, yeah, you can find us here and here. Don't follow us on Instagram. Those are personal accounts. Good. Adorable. And it's definitely worth following as someone who does on
Thank you.
all of those. No, I haven't used TikTok in a while, but outside of that, the content is good. Also, do you have any shout outs you want to give out?
I want to shout out you all. I'm so happy to be back and so glad that you let me back, because there was a time where after I was on here, I'm obsessed with your stuff and I like respond to everything on Twitter and all your posts on Bluesky, and I'm like, oh gosh, they're probably like, this girl's crazy, but no, I'm so glad to be back.
There's been more than one occasion where I've just like messaged Lane me like, Ren shares all of our posts. That's nice.
I'm obsessed.
Yeah. I was like, don't make it sound bad, because Kiki, usually what happens is Kiki like will send me a screenshot of something you reposted and be like, Rin is the cutest person ever.
I'm obsessed. It's my lunchtime routine, or like if I have to do chores, I put it, like the episode you did before Yokohama, I had to clean my hobby room and I was listening to it and I was like having the conversation in my head like a crazy person, like, yeah. Like I was just like, I'm hanging out with my friends on Skype. I'm just the weird one who's quiet.
It's so adorable.
But that's like the best. I think Tommy and I were making jokes about that when I was on Fresh and Buds a few weeks ago. We were making jokes about that. Like, when you have a podcast that you love, it does just feel like, oh, I'm hanging out with my friends right now. They just don't know I'm on the call. I'm muted.
They just talk over everything I say, but like, we're buds.
Is it?
But it is true. Our solo episodes with Kiki and I, like, those are, we don't have show notes, which is probably very obvious, but it's like, it is just a video call. What you're saying.
Yeah, the guest episode's significantly more structured, which is not saying too much considering how late I got the show notes out this time. Well, Elaine, where can they find you? on socials? We were doing the outro portion.
I am eham on tree on all of the socials. Eham on tree, like bacon on bush or pork on shrubbery. So yeah.
And I've made things difficult because I have different accounts. On Twitter, I am Kiki_LA93. On Bluesky, I'm at KikiBird. And of course, you can follow along with this podcast and all of our journeys at Pitch Perfect Pod on Bluesky and at Pitch Perfect Fab on Twitter, which I realized the other day. They are different. And I might have tagged the wrong account
They're different.
on Twitter. Yeah. So that's us. That's this episode. Again, it's been lovely to have you. We still have more to film because we're about to do a blind ranking with you. Which,
I forgot
if
about
you're a
that.
viewer, you should have called by now if you haven't. But until then, thank you very much for joining us. And for the viewers, we will see you all next time. Goodbye.